Wow, we are live. Look at this. I got two viewers already. They're telling me to start the show before the show even starts. It's very inspiring, very motivating. Um, Welcome to the show, guys. Judas Fly Chai and Seamus Crawford. Another Monday night chill stream from yours truly. A bunch of stuff going on. Some stuff that's funny. Hopefully, I'll be a little funnier this week than I was last week. I kind of got sick in the middle of the week. People think I had 2 day COVID, but I didn't really have 2 day COVID. There were this. I have a problem with my car. The heat in my car is not quite working the way it should. And there were 2 nights, or 2 nights that I was driving where the temperatures were below 20 degrees. And one night, once I had to go upstate, and the temperature was like 6 degrees Fahrenheit, and I just wasn't quite warm enough, and I ended up catching a chill, which is, I didn't, which for me is weird. So like my temperature goes down, it doesn't go up. That was for a couple of days. I had some body aches and stuff like that. And the left side of my body, the left, what is this? How do you call that? Lymph node, the one that's closest to the window where the cold air was, even though the window was closed. It got all like swollen and felt like it was filled with poison and razor blades. But so anyway, I survived that, and I called in. I took Wednesday and Thursday off, and it was just like the Tuesday night when I came back from upstate, man. It was like I'm walking to my apartment from my car, and I started like shivering, like full body shivering, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's not that cold. It's only like, I know it's 6 degrees upstate, but it's like 20 degrees where I am, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is, and I started thinking like, what does it mean when you really full body shiver? Like I was having trouble walking. I was like, fucking, like, what the fuck? And I realized your body's desperately trying to make heat. So I came in and I had like a bunch of hot soup and whatever. And I should have actually taken what I should have done was taking a hot bath. But it was fucking, too many hours. I didn't think it through. So I've just been pushing myself too hard, working too many hours, and the cold. I usually think of the heat as being a limiting factor in me physically, but apparently the cold could be a limiting factor as well. So that was that. And then Friday, I call in to work and I get my manager, who he doesn't usually answer the phone, but he picks up the phone. And I said, listen, put me on the list. I said, I'm back after a couple of days. He goes, what do you mean? I said, oh, I had a fever. He says, oh, did you get tested for COVID? I said, no, I didn't get tested for COVID. And he said, my hand to God, he goes, you should get tested for COVID. I said, you just coughed into the phone and you're telling me to get tested for COVID. And he says, oh, that's because I'm drinking coffee, he says. It's like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not getting fucking tested for the fucking coof. Fuck out of here. 2 day COVID. And of course, I tell Ziggy the Polak. Ziggy's like, yeah, you had the coof. And then the Colombian guys are like, sí, por favor, lo COVID-19. And the fucking enough, no fucking 2 day COVID. You know what I mean? If I had 2 day COVID, then I'm fucking Superman. You know what I mean? I caught a chill, and I got over it. I took a couple of days off, which I should have done because I was just run down. I was just too run down, working too hard, trying to keep the economy going. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do, and trying to keep America from collapsing. Prematurely. It was going to collapse anyway. But in the meantime, I will keep it. I will keep it supported. Every time I think, man, there's nothing going to happen this week that's good. Tons of shit happens. Tons and tons of shit happens. So, like I saw, like literally the funniest and most brutal tweet. It's like so bad. Oh my god, it's so bad, and it had me singing. So somebody tweet. I don't know who it was. Somebody I'm not following. Somebody tweets that they said I was so excited when I was 14 years old to look up the 14 words on the internet. He says I thought it was going to be some great Wagnerian Teutonic war cry, and basically all it said was, "I believe that children are the future." And I read that and I was like, "Holy shit." The whole neo-Nazi white power movement is based on a fucking Whitney Houston song, right? Whitney Houston's got that song. You remember Whitney Houston's song? It's like, I believe the children's are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Think of the 1488, 14 words, right? Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauties they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride and make it easier. Make the children laughter. Remind me how it used to be. So 1488 is a fucking Whitney Houston song. The entire white power movement is a song sung by a black woman from Newark, New Jersey, who died of a cocaine overdose while doing cartwheels by the pool. Fun fact, song was written by Dolly Parton. But yeah, I'm sorry I had to sing. You know what I mean? I don't usually impose singing on people unless I'm really like, I want blood to run out of your ears. I don't usually sing to myself unless I want blood to run out of my own ears. But I needed to illustrate that point, and it's bad. It's brutally bad. So when you see the 1488 crowd, you just ask them if did they have memories of riding around in mommy's minivan, listening to fucking Whitney Houston tunes on the way to the fucking shopping mall, because that's what it's all about. Could not be a worst put down. Could not be a worse put down. The lyrics match exactly. So that's that. You got a whole bunch of tons and tons of stuff going on. I can't believe like last show got like 45 fucking views. I only got like 49. How do I get 49 subscribers? Like really? I'm amazed that I got like 90% of the people viewing, or 90% of the people that subscribe to this fucking channel actually watched one video. That's got to be some kind of fucking new engagement metric that I've never achieved before. But you know what? Life is getting more and more interesting, right? Everything that I magically predict, because I noticed that, the Federal Reserve printed 40% more dollars in 2020 than they printed from 1776 to 2020. Just because of that massive fucking 40%, dollar inflation, all of a sudden there's inflation everywhere and people are losing their shit, right? So here's thank God, Papa Joe and our friends at the Ministry of Truth at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. You are not alone. They are very, very much. You are very much in their thoughts. You know what I mean? And your concerns are their concerns. Let's be honest. They wouldn't be where they are if it were not for you. So there it is. This is actually a couple of days old, but January 3rd. So about 2 weeks old. Not quite 2 weeks old. There it is. Jen Psaki. If you don't buy anything, you won't experience inflation. Man, the answers are so simple. Sometimes the answer is so simple, it's just right in front of your face. It's like right in front of your face. Is that all I need to do is just not buy anything? Thank you. Thank you, whitehouse.org. I really appreciate that. See how easy it is to solve all of America's problems, right? Just don't buy anything. Don't buy food or electricity or clothes or anything like that. You know what I mean? Shut off your water bill, shut off your electric bill, shut all that stuff off. You'll never experience inflation. Go live in the fucking park, right? Go live in the park, but understand if you live in the park, there can be some dangerous characters in the park. Dangerous characters all around. I don't know, a lot of you guys might have seen, I don't have screenshots of it, but all those package trash in LA by the train yards, they showed like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of packages. That people go into the trains that I guess there's a train yard in LA that people break into the trains and they go rip through all these packages and they steal whatever the fuck they find in there. And this has been making the rounds of social media. Like a lot of big accounts have looked at this. And I thought about this. And this is one of the things where there's a lot of stuff that in my mind that I don't like. I don't have a super powerful mind that chews up ideas immediately. I kind of wrestle. I kind of take a few bites at something. If it doesn't work out, I don't get frustrated at this point in life anymore. I just kind of let it go, let it drift to the back of my head and let whatever happens in the back of my head work on it. And so when people wonder, like, exactly what will be the end of, like, people, well, what's going to be the end of America? Will it be the stupid party or the evil party, right? Who's going to end America? Okay. And the answer is really neither, right? The people who are going to end America is corporate America. The corporations that totally dominate the government, and you see it now, Google, Amazon, Facebook, they dominate the government, right? Google runs search and God knows what else for the government, right? Amazon is the only corporation in the history of America that has the U.S. Postal Service deliver for it on Sunday, right? Facebook has a monopoly on whatever social media, the public marketplace in that regard. So these corporations, which, I mean, their goal is to pay out like the cooliest of coolie wages, right? They're always looking for, they want to avoid unionization. There's all these stories that, they hire specialists, to union bust, and they want the widest amount of diversity. There's a skin color diversity in their workforce to avoid any possibility that they might be unionized and they might have to pay higher wages, right? So this super low wages and let's avoid paying taxes. These two things in combination are really going to drive the destruction of liberal democracy, which a bunch of people here, a bunch of Whitney Houston fans here will cheer. They'll be like, yay, this is better than a Whitney concert. This is better than Whitney Houston coming back to life and singing the Children of the Future song. Because you think, I don't know what the fuck you think is going to come after it, but you're going to starve to death of what comes after it. Mostly, like, all these people, all the so-called right-wing people are communists. I think I'm the only, I know I'm not a communist, but I'm pretty sure most of these people are communists. And they go, oh no, we're not communists because we don't like Stalin and we don't like gay pride parades or whatever the fuck makes you think that you're not a communist. You're a communist. And I'll tell you why you're a communist, because you won't talk about economics at all. You won't say fucking one about money, right? My question, you'll find this to be remarkably self-interested. You'll say, James, you are remarkably self-interested in your questioning. Yes, I am. Unlike you, I don't have, I don't have the mighty fucking brain power to worry about the entire white race. I just kind of worry about myself. But my question is, how much are you going to pay me to fucking drive boxes from point A to point B in your ethno state? And then you don't answer that. You're like, what do you mean? We're not going to need to move anything from point A to point B in the ethno state. It'll be, the ethno state. But you're going to have to move shit from point A to point B. I promise you this. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck what you are. You're going to have to move shit from point A to point B, right? And in order to have whatever you think the civilization is going to be. How much are you going to pay people to do that? And you don't have an answer. None of you, with all your fucking books, all your bullshit, none of you got a fucking answer. One, because you're children and children don't handle money. Two, you're irresponsible jerks who have no fucking idea how anything works. So I have no interest in any fucking thing you have to say. Your incredibly detailed daydreams about what's going to happen when liberal democracy fails are of no interest to anyone outside with the tiny little clique that you live in, right? And if you ever turned the power of analysis that you heroically present against some fucking, purple-haired, nose ring, gender fucking queer Yale graduate, you think if you turn that same destructive analysis towards your own arguments, which you'll never do because you're psychologically incapable of that, then you would not be the child that you are. And you would understand that people need incentive. You know what I mean? And if you say, well, we're not going to pay you anything, we're going to force you to do it. Okay, bro, that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm 100% fine with that. You know what I mean? If we exist in a legal framework where it is a war of all against all, we'll see who fucking wins. But I guarantee you this, it ain't going to be you motherfuckers. That's for damn sure. It ain't going to be you motherfuckers. Virgil Doc, Purple Heart, welcome to the show, sir. Seamus Crawford, literally pounding on the door. Open up the pub, open up the pub. We'll pay you with money. You'll have workers' rights. Actually, okay. Here we go, Seamus, you fucking Irishman, you fucking Fenian bastard. What kind of money? Will it be green pieces of paper issued by the government? A green receipt? You work, right? You do some labor, or you produce some beautifully finished fucking item, right? And in exchange for that, you get a green piece of paper, and you're going to take that, and you're going to buy a house, and you're going to buy a wife. You're going to buy your wife a pair of shoes, and you're going to put milk in your fucking kids' bellies or whatever, right? It's going to be a green piece of paper that the government, it's going to be a government primarily based on the fact that we all have one common genetic characteristic, right? So the government's based on the fact that we're all white here, aren't we? So we're going to give you a green fucking IOU, and then that's going to work, right? Because all the green IOUs now that are going down the fucking toilet, that they're printing out of control, you're going to change the system. How? The one thing, and I started doing this as just to bust balls, but they're legit questions. If you have a system that's better than democracy, I'd love to hear what the fuck it is. And if you have a good reason other than they cheated by being better at solving problems, if you have a reason why democracy rules the fucking earth and has slain every form of governance that appeared before it, right? If you have an answer other than the Jews, which is not an answer, the Jews corrupt it, absolutely. They corrupt everything. However, why, even with corrupted democracy, did it beat everything else? That's a fair question. Now, that's a question for adults, okay? That's a question for an honest person who's going to go, you know what? I have no idea what the fuck the answer to that question is, but I'll be back in 6 weeks. You can go back in 6 weeks, 6 days, 6 months. I guarantee you don't have a fucking answer for that question, because I'm asking questions you can't answer. All right. You have to set aside your whatever fantasy fucking Dungeons and Dragons world you live in, okay, to go find fucking answers. You're not capable of that because children don't do that. That's what adults do. That's not what children do. Okay. So when are we going to abolish? We aren't going to abolish currency. What do you mean? No, we will have Bitcoin. There will be something that is specifically limited forever. See, money should never lose value, right? Money should never lose value. Why should money lose value? Ask yourself that question. The whole idea of gold coins, and the reason why the gold standard was the standard around the world for 5,000 years, is because it didn't lose value. It held on to its value really good, right? Somebody always wants that gold. It's valuable, right? They want that piece of metal. They want that disc of yellow metal. It's always valuable. It doesn't matter whose picture is on it, right? A picture of a guy from Mesopotamia, a picture of a guy from Egypt, a picture of a guy from Rome, a picture of the guy from Spain, it doesn't matter whose picture's on it, right? You could put a horse, you could put a flower, you could put a ship, whatever little carved designs you want. But the yellow metal disc, gold, is always valuable. Money should never lose value. Tell me about your system of governance that's going to replace this rotten edifice. Tell me about the monetary system. Because I don't give a shit about the shitty books you read by fucking dudes who died virgins at 81 years old. I don't give a fuck. Like, nobody cares. Like, you say that in public, people will laugh so hard you'll win comedian of the fucking year. They don't know that you're not joking, but they're going to take it as a joke, because no one who lives in the fucking real world, okay, would consider for 5 seconds, that sort of thing, right? No one. Seamus Crawford in the chat. Money just represents the value produced. Is that all it is? Oh, it's just a representation. It's just a representation produced by an individual worker. Of course, we would pay you. We? Who's fucking we, white man? Of course, we would pay you with money, but it doesn't need to be backed by anything. I didn't say that. Well, It needs to have value, right? And you say it has value. I say I can kick your fucking ass. We'll see who wins. Again, you think it's an individual worker. You think everything, again, because you're a child and you cannot imagine a large organization of things that produce something of value. Like there's such a thing called bridges, right? I drive over them all the time. I have to pay a lot of money in tolls to do this. They're made out of steel, right? Big, heavy, giant steel fucking things set into concrete. They go over waterways. So I can carry a box from point A to point B, right? In order to make the steel for the bridge, you need more than one man. Here's a fucking clue. A steel mill, right? And everything that goes into mining the fucking ore and figuring out what the proper metallurgy is, and then fucking designing the fucking bridge, then building the bridge, little more than one person, okay? Because Seamus Crawford sits in a fucking cafe with his mother's credit card and orders shit and the waiter brings it to him. He thinks everything works off of one man. That's not how it works. That's not how it works, Seamus Crawford. It's very, very, very complex, all right? It's very complex. And the money has to have value or people won't do shit for you. Nobody gives a fuck what your fucking ideology is. I'm not kidding you. Nobody cares if you're nobody cares if you're a Russian or a Hungarian or a Japanese or whatever. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody gives a fucking shit. Oh, I'm a Republican. I'm a socialist. I'm a Democrat. I'm a libertarian. No one cares, right? You can't go to the store and say, I need a gallon of milk for my kids. I'm a libertarian. Oh, well, go right ahead. Take two. You know, it's a free country. That's not how it works, man. So you imagine there's going to be some dramatic change, but we're still going to be using the green pieces of paper that Jews issue the U.S. government as money. That's how fucking stupid you are. You're thinking of a world where the global reserve currency is a green piece of paper issued by a Jew and distributed by the U.S. government. And you think shit's going to change. Nothing's going to change, sonny boy. Nothing is going to fucking change. The reason why you don't have girlfriends is because you're fucking children, right? You're always going, oh, I hope so. I hope the government gives me a girlfriend. Again, you're in the, right? I mean, it's half of a joke, but it's really not half of a joke, right? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're incapable of going to get a woman, you know, or a girlfriend. You're not capable of that. You wait for it to be brought to you, like a baby sits in a high chair and waits for its food to be brought to it. And they go, here's the airplane. Open your mouth. Open your mouth. Here's the airplane. It's not one person. It's not given. Okay? How is this going to happen? What is going to be money when the green pieces of paper issued by Jews and distributed by the U.S. government goes to zero? What will the economic system be? That's why I call you a communist. You're a communist because you can't think of this, right? You can't think of it at all. What's it going to be? I don't know. We don't know. Of course you don't know. One, you're a child. Two, you're a communist. Which is why I dismiss you. Extrinsic value is still value. Yeah, keep talking about theoretical bullshit, okay? And then go pick up that heavy object and carry it yourself, because I'm not doing it, all right? Seamus Crawford, that's how it works now. Money isn't backed by anything, but we are mutually agreed. Well, since Nixon took us off the gold standard, yes, that's true. But prior to 1971 or whatever, when we came off the gold standard, there were congressional laws. There were constitutional laws that limited the amount of currency you could print relative to the amount of gold in Fort Knox. So you have no economic system, and that's what adults talk about. Adults talk about money. Children talk about metaphysics and, I don't know, meeting unicorn girls in the woods or whatever it is you think you're going to do. When you're ready for an adult conversation, let me know what your economic system looks like. Right? And then we'll see how popular you really are. So a couple of things I saw, what's his name? Josh Neal in the chat before. This is going to be bad for him. I was on his space. He was doing a spaces thing with this guy. A guy who calls himself fucking Jefferson Lee. something like that. I don't know what it was. This was bad. This was really bad for me. So I was like, I was the other day when I was sick, right? I think it was when I was sick. So I was doing a space, and they're talking about a bunch of different things, COVID and a few other things. And I'm like, and Richard Spencer comes on, right? And Richard Spencer comes on and says, I don't mean to take over your space, but I also talk about January 6th. This was Richard Spencer's exact opening words. Exact opening words. I don't mean to take over your space, but regarding J6, doink, I hit the fucking leave button. I'm not listening to this guy. I'm like, fuck that shit. I'm not listening to Richard Spencer. So I drop out, and I come back after like 30 minutes or so. So Spencer's gone. And Spencer's gone. I'm like, all right, Spencer's gone. I'll listen in. But the problem is my brain starts working on shit. And I'm like, there's a fucking, like, it's the Terminator. I don't know. I'm going to call it the Terminator process. It's like when Schwarzenegger's going after Sarah Connor, like nothing's going to stop him. You could blow him up, you could do this and that, he could lose his eye, and he has to cut off his hand, but he still keeps coming, right? It's like Schwarzenegger in Terminator 1. There's a process in my head. It's like, okay, here it goes. It's grinding forward. And yeah, I'm not going to stand in front of it because I'm going to get squished. So Jefferson Lee's talking about Trump. This was Trump before his white power remarks, but talking about Trump, right? Oh, he's a grifter. Trump something. Kushner is a grifter. Okay. And I'm like, these are the extreme right-wing guys that are talking about Donald Trump in 2022. I'm like, that's not extreme right-wing. Like that you are unironically having a discussion of Trump's impact on the Republican Party and elections and shit. That's, I don't know what extreme right-wing thinking is. If extreme right-wing thinking is sounding like, a Fox News panel, but you occasionally say fuck the Jews, I'm not impressed. But I don't particularly care for that guy, Jackson Lee or what the fuck is his name? Jordan Lee. I can't remember what the fuck. He calls himself something, whatever. And his avatar was a black dude. So, but then it got worse from there. It got like really fucking bad. This is going to be ugly. This part's going to be ugly, and you ain't going to like it. And I mean, it's going to be fucking ugly. So they said, what did they say? What else did they talk about? They were talking about, then they had to keep complaining about the fake right. How come where's all the leadership for the right? Where's all the Gavin McInnes sticks a dildo up his ass? Whatever, what the fuck's they get? All these right-wing social media type, accounts are all compromised, right? They're all homosexuals, or they're all pro-Israel, or they're all this. And they're like, where's the leadership? Where's the leadership? Where's the leadership? And I thought to myself, this is that amazing millennial lack of fucking awareness. 20 minutes ago, you had Richard Spencer on your space, and now you let him talk. And now you go, where's the leadership? And I'm like, is this some kind of comedy skit written by Antifa? This is like a comedy skit written by Antifa, right? You're like, hey, Richard, come on and take over my space. And then you're like, see you later, bro. And hey, doesn't it suck that there's no right-wing leadership? And I'm like, the fuck is that? Like, did you not just hear you had Richard Spencer on 20 minutes ago? And he sat like this, like, oh, yes, Richard. Yeah, oh, sure, whatever. I don't know what he said, because like I said, I jumped off the call at that point. But there's the level of awareness, zero. Now you could say, well, James, Richard Spencer isn't a right-wing guy anymore. Okay. He loves Joe Biden. He's not a right-wing guy anymore. So why would you have him in your space? Like if you're talking about, a counterweight to Antifa and the left and liberal democracy, why would you let a guy who's not your guy come in and speak first? Like, why would you do that? That's lost on me. Unless you want an oppositional, unless you're looking for battle, unless you're looking for blood sports, right? Because if Richard Spencer's not a right-wing guy anymore, why would you host him on your space, which is complaining there's no right-wing leadership? Right? Oops. Big fucking oops on that one, huh? And if he is a right-wing guy, why isn't he the leader anymore? I mean, he was in 2017. So what happened? What happened? Did he give up his leadership position to Jack Murphy? Who I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what happened, right? So I'm like the amazing lack of fucking awareness, of self-awareness. Like literally, I thought it was fucking scripted. I'm listening to this and I'm like, I did take a Tylenol, right? My brain's not burning up for fever. Like this is crazy. Then they opened it up to questions. Then it got worse. Yeah, it gets worse from here. So it doesn't get worse from here, James. Oh, it gets fucking worse. It gets way worse. Some guy says, I don't know who the guy was. That was the second or third guy. Comes up and he says, talking about January 6th, J6 in Spencer speak, J6. Hey, I don't mean to take over your space talking about J6, but I just have a few thoughts I'd like to get down. Well, I'm going to lay down some J6 tracks. Whatever the fuck, I don't know what he says. I'm doing my Richard Spencer DJ voice. So this guy says the alt-right is supposed to be the extreme edge of, or the radical edge of right-wing thinking. And on January 6th, they did nothing. And the normies, the QAnon people, stormed the Capitol. And Josh Neal got super defensive, like really defensive. And which is telling and not good. But worse than that, he did the little dicks thing. He said, oh, because we're little dicks because we didn't storm the Capitol on January 6th. And he says, well, I'm going to stop myself. And then Jackson Lee or Janet Lee, whatever the fuck the guy's name is, he goes, well, I'm fucking happy. I'm happy no one I know is in prison. I'm fucking happy no one I know is in prison over January 6th. I want to say, and nobody I know IRL, because apparently leaving your house and I don't know, shaking somebody's hand is like the biggest accomplishment for these fucking people, is gone to prison. And like, listen, you know, you feel like you're not achieving whatever your goals were. And then you think, James, it's not going to get worse than that. Oh yeah, it's worse than that. You're like, it doesn't get worse. I swear to my fucking hand to God, it gets worse. So after Jordan Lee, whatever the fuck Jordan Lee, I think his code name is, says, I'm glad my friends aren't in federal prison. The guy stays on the call. He didn't like run away. The guy says, no, I didn't mean it that way. He said, it's two groups of boomers, the conservative boomers and the socialist boomers, fighting it out in a civil war to the death. I think you should just let them fight and then pick up the pieces when it's all over. And I was like, holy shit, again, did fucking Antifa script this fucking call? Like, what I was like, tell me I didn't just fucking hear that, but I did. And while I'm not 100% verbatim in the Gestalt, I'm fucking, I pretty much got this right. 100%, I got this right. And I thought to myself, man, that's something I did not need to fucking hear. That was a whole sequence that I just didn't need to hear, but whatever. I've said it before and I'll say it again. When people tell you who they are, believe them. When people tell you who they are, believe them. What that means to you, how you understand the stimulus that's going in your ears, whatever. If someone wants to characterize what I said as not accurate, you can go ahead and push back against that anytime you want. But that is an accurate portrayal of that space. And so I thought to myself, all right, I don't need to hear anything these people have to say ever again. You know what I mean? If you can't host Richard Spencer as a speaker and then 10 minutes later turn around and say, where's all the good right-wing leadership? That's, again, if this is not a comedy skit, And I don't know. The level of self-parody there is, I think, definitely beyond these people. They don't have that level of sense of humor. And when somebody criticizes you, making it into a commentary on your genitalia, man, you're always going to lose doing that. You're always going to lose. That is the wrong interpretation entirely. And even when this guy corrected himself, he's like, no, civil war of the boomers and the commies. Like there was no moment where either Josh Neal or the other guy went, holy shit, I fucking got that wrong. Oh, fuck. I thought you meant they just don't do that. They just don't do that. They're never wrong. I'm the only man who's ever been wrong on the internet, ever. But that was that, and finding out that the 1488 crowd is just Whitney Houston fans. Fuck, what a week. 2022 is kicking off. Like 2022 is pretty lit, right? So, okay. All right. So here's what I want to point out to. And this, people are going to say, well, James, you overplay this fucking working class hero shit. Yeah, I guess. Let's go. Where are we going to talk about? Here's a good one. And, oh, wow, that's way bigger than I thought it was going to be. That's way bigger than I thought it was going to be. But since I interact with people like this a lot, and I have sympathy for them, stories just grab my eye. Here you go. 16-year-old Wendy's employee shot in the head over a drive-through order. More didn't do nothings, more good boys. This is from January 14th, 2022. So very recent. Very, very recent. This is not unlike that New York story where that Spanish girl was and the Burger King was killed by that Dindu who they fucked up the perp walk. A perp walk or perpetrator walk is something the NYPD used to do, like back when it was bigger in the newspaper days. But they walked the guy. They would tell the press that they're going to walk the guy out of the station house and bring him to Rikers Island. And so the newspaper guys could get pictures, right? They got to be lined up outside on the sidewalk so they get pictures. And so they walk the guy out in handcuffs, and it's like big game hunting. You know what I mean? The cops like showing off their prize, the prize animal that they hunted down in the streets. People hated it, but it's great political theater. And anyway, they haven't done it in years. I haven't seen them do it in years and years, and they sure as hell don't want to do it with a black male. But East Harlem is filled with Dominicans, and it has been more and more for years and years. It used to be the old Charles Rangel's congressional district, and Charles Rangel replaced that guy from the 60s. I can't remember his name. Adam Clayton Powell III. He replaced Adam Clayton Powell III, and he was in Congress forever and ever. And of course, they're all corrupt as they can be. And the last couple of times Charles Rangel ran for office, he almost lost and in Harlem, and people were like, well, how could that possibly be? And all these dopey political pundits are like, well, it's Blexit. Black people are finally tired of getting free money and free housing and free fucking food and free fucking electricity. They're waking up. No, that's not true. It's just that the demographics in the neighborhood had changed. Less black, more Dominican. And I'm not saying that Dominicans do not commit crime, because Dominicans, most certainly, the Dominican Republic is a very crime-ridden place. But they commit crimes a whole lot less than blacks do. And so as the neighborhood demographic shifted, getting less black and more Dominican, the number of violent crimes in the street just went down. And, New York being full of opportunists, all sorts of opportunists, both the politicians and the police were quick to jump and say, oh, it's our super policies and our 21st century policing techniques that are making crime go down. But that's complete and utter bullshit. It's just a change in demographics. You know what I mean? If you took everyone out of Harlem and replaced them with South Koreans, crime would drop to zero, right? Crime is not a function of the zip code. Crime is not it's not a vapor that comes out of the fucking sidewalk. It's the behavior of individuals. So they say, well, so what? Some kid gets killed working in a burger joint. You know, pretty soon the burger joint's going to close because nobody's going to work there, right? When the Amazon worker can't get out of the truck in the tornado and they can't get into any of the warehouses to shelter in place, you know what I mean? When no one's going to sit there and go, yeah, I'm willing to get shot in the head to smell like hamburger grease and get minimum wage for 50 hours a week. When you find like, but gee, why wouldn't anyone do? Where's that Calvinist work ethic? You know what I mean? Nobody's going to want to do that. You know what I mean? And you say you don't care until your stomach growls and you drive up to the fucking building that used to be a Wendy's that's now closed. Then you'll cry. Then you will absolutely fucking cry. However, this is not all there is. This is not all there is. This one was, wait, what? No, that's not the one I want. Show me the other one. Show me another one. That's the one I want. Did I send the wrong one? There we go. Here's our little girl. Here we go. Probably saw this if you were on Twitter. Another one. This was from beautiful Los Angeles, California. Right? Woman 24 stabbed to death while working at a luxury LA furniture store in random daytime attack. So this looks like actually like a petite female. She's actually a pretty girl. A homeless Negro came into the store, stabbed her to death, and then ran away. I'm sure you're shocked, right? You thought for sure this time it was a white supremacist. Now, this is the kind of place where they hire really pretty girls, and she's like, hey, you know what? She could be the mistress of a really rich guy or whatever, or maybe get a boyfriend. Like if mom drags her son, multimillionaire mom drags her son into the fucking store to buy fucking furniture. You know what? Maybe this chick gets a fucking a millionaire boyfriend. Maybe she gets into a millionaire household, right? But now she's dead. She had no idea. No idea to fucking deal with street dindus. You know what I mean? Endless. They pick you because you're small, you're weak, and you're not ready for it. You know what I mean? So this girl's dead, and this is a high-end furniture store. So stuff like this will get swept under the rug, but there's only so many times that it can get swept under the rug until they decide no one is allowed in the store or out of the store unless something else happens. It's simply not going to be an open door, right? You're going to need to have an appointment. This is, after all, LA's luxury furniture department, right? I'm talking about access control. I talk about this all the time. And maybe because you're still in lockdown, you don't see it. But and once again, because in my work, it's tiny shit. One of the subcontractor fucking companies that they had cutting us out of work, one of these fucking chuckleheads goes into the warehouse, picks up an aircraft part, leaves, and fucking loses the part. I don't know where the fuck it went. I don't know. There's zero value to this shit. You can't sell it on the street for crack, but he loses this fucking thing. And so this kicked off a whole series of things where to get in the door, there's electronic door pass. And to get out is the door pass as well. So when we leave now, you have to, they have a badge right by the door. I can't just open the door and leave, because if I do that, it gets recorded. The alarm goes off and it gets recorded on the computer, and these guys get their balls busted. So now I have to take my stuff, position it by the door, take the badge, swipe it, make the door open, make the little bar go green, and then I can walk out with the stuff I got to walk out of, which is sometimes a big pain in the ass, because there are these boxes that are 22 by 22 by 22, which are airplane batteries, and they weigh 95 fucking pounds. It's a real fucking pain in the ass to fucking open that door and get that thing. Whatever it is, what it is. It's the difficulty of my life. But access control, and where I work, the stuff I move is very, very, very expensive. It has no value outside of its own industry, but the what gets done, literally who gets to open the door, who doesn't, and when and why becomes a very big fucking deal. And you go, oh, it's just in your job. Listen to me. It's going to be everywhere. No one's going to show up for work to be fucking murdered for minimum wage. That's not going to happen. You know what I mean? And you say you don't care because it's not going to happen to you, but it's not just going to be the Wendy's. It's going to be the fucking supermarket. It's going to reach you. It's not going to be tomorrow. Maybe it'll be 5 years from now, but it's definitely coming. And no one's going to have a good way to fucking deal with this because they're not building any more jail cells, right? They're certainly not going to execute these guys. You know what I mean? And the supply of willing fucking human sacrifices is going to shrink, right? White people who won't complain, but you put Spanish in there, they'll fucking go out of their minds. That's why the Dindu that shot the girl at a Burger King, when they did the perp walk, and he came out and he's like, blah, 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 reparations, this and that. And everyone's so outraged. I'm like, listen, there's plenty of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans in Rikers, plenty of them in the fucking Rikers, plenty. Rikers Island Jail, 15,000 motherfuckers in there, all right? And if the Dominicans decide that this dude doesn't need to fucking live anymore, then he ain't going to live anymore. He might not make it out of Rikers. Or if he gets upstate, he might not make it out of upstate. So I wouldn't worry over much. The idea that he's getting away scot-free, you're not going to do to the Dominicans what you did to white people. It's just not going to happen. They're not going to react the same way. One of the benefits of having a lower IQ and less impulse control, and the state will not be able to fucking they won't be able to manage that. What are they going to do? They can't manage that. They're busy doing other shit. I knew a woman. I met this woman. What was her name? Vanessa. Miss Vanessa. She was fucking huge. She's like, how tall was she? Very tall. Back in my motorcycle days. And she lived in Spain when she was 19 years old. She had a boyfriend who was a very wealthy man and had her leave whatever college she was going to and move into his villa. Right? And she was his girlfriend. And one day, all the servants, he was away from on business, and all the servants ran away from the villa. And this car drives up, and these two Americans in suits come out, and they're from the CIA. And they know her name, and they say, listen, your husband's about to be arrested by the Spanish National Police for terrorism. You need to pack your bags and get the fuck out of this house. And she doesn't believe it, and back and forth, and blah, 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 blah. And they said, listen, we looked at you, and, you're not part of this, but get out, go back to school. Don't answer this guy's phone calls. And that's that. So she was rattled. She packed her bags, got the fuck out. P.S. The guy ends up getting arrested. He wasn't an action guy. He was like a money guy behind the scenes, but he ended up getting arrested for terrorism. That was back in the 1970s. This is today, right? And today, what do we have? Spanish former police chief admits that the Spanish Secret Service were behind the jihadist attacks in Barcelona, August 2017. Their intention was to scare Catalonia, which is a region of Spain, Catalonia, just before the Independence Day referendum, because they wanted to break away from Spain. 16 people from various nationalities were killed in so-called jihadi bomb attacks. This is the admission of the former Spanish chief of police. Spanish Secret Service, okay? It's not just America that does this. They all do this. So you're up against some very, very bad, immoral people, and you're delusional, right? And the only reason why you haven't been fucking ground up at the hamburger yet is because you got lucky. I don't think you're going to get lucky forever, right? And I try to tell people to smarten up. I try to tell you that your ideology sucks because your ideology sucks, right? You don't even have a fucking ideology, right? Simply crying democracy sucks. Okay, come up with something better, Chuckles. You're supposed to be such a fucking high IQ genius. Let's hear it. You read all the books, right? So I'll look forward next week to your fucking plan. Or you can write it in the chat. You can write your fucking system that's better than the one we have in the fucking chat below. I'm sure you could just bang that out like this. All you high IQ, college educated geniuses who have better jobs than me, which is just carrying a fucking box from point A to point B. Right? I'm too fucking whatever. I'm too narrow minded. I don't have the fucking the realm of fucking experience you have or whatever the fuck. Right? I'm too whatever. You can list all my flaws. And when you're done with that, list the fucking system that's better than the one we have right now. That is not Bitcoin, because I'm staking the claim on the Bitcoin standard, and a corporation based on fucking Bitcoin, and then a form of governance that I call consensus governance, where you have to put up or shut the fuck up. And if any of your brilliant ideas, if you dare mouth them as like, here's a rule change, and it fails, then you lose in money. Okay, so. And if you propose a rule change and it goes through, you don't get anything extra. You just don't lose money. And again, that's a level of authoritarianism. That is a level of social control. That is a level of stability, the likes of which has never been seen. And is the most resistant to oligarchical corruption, which is the primary weakness of democracy. Oligarchic corruption. Corruption, not through people's morals, but through money, which drives all behavior. Almost all behavior. Although when you're young, hormones come in a big play for most everybody, not for a lot of you guys, because you're, whatever. You're not. You didn't make it successfully through puberty, which is sad, I guess. But there's 7 billion people on the planet. I'm not. You're a lot less. You're a lot less needed than you think you are. You imagine you're some kind of center of the fucking universe. I assure you, there are 7 billion motherfuckers. That's billion with the B. More than willing to fucking push you aside and take your place. So you need to sort shit out. Here's a great story, and again, points. I don't know how many times I'm going to do this from how many different directions, but there's what they put in front of your face, and it's almost always different from what they say. Jared Kushner was advocating for a U.S. digital dollar in which the Fed would launch its own central bank currency, because it would be, quote, an enviable position in the future of the world and exercise some degree of power over a worldwide currency. That worldwide currency already exists. It's called Bitcoin. But the reason why Donald Trump hates Bitcoin or doesn't like Bitcoin is because Jared Kushner told him, let's do a central bank, a CBDC, central bank digital currency, and we'll control even more of the world. In that photo, you have Trump in the center, Kushner to the right, and another Wall Street Jew named Steven Mnuchin, who is the Treasury Secretary on the far left. And Mnuchin was not a fan of the digital dollar, so he didn't want that to be pushed. But yeah, Donald Trump, who's anti-Bitcoin, but whose wife sells NFTs, right? Those digital. I'm not supposed to show that. I'm not supposed to show, but the behind the scenes 47 emails I sent to myself. Donald Trump's anti-Bitcoin, but his wife has an NFT collection, a digital art collection that you should buy, right? Don't ever listen to what they say. Just look at what they do. Don't ever, ever, ever listen to what they say. Look at what they do. But that's a lesson that's too simple. And you guys crave complexity because it gives you an excuse not to do anything. Oh, I can't lift any heavy objects. I have to study this complex subject. No, you should be lifting heavy objects, like you really should. So Kushner wants a CBDC, but they aren't ready yet. They are not ready yet. Where's this one? Here we go. There are some reasonable, panicky fucking software engineers in I in this space. People who are getting pressured. Why can't we do this? Why can't we beat Bitcoin? Why can't you make this go away? So the story, where's the story? Come on. Here it is. From 13 January of this year. Somebody says, why all the coordinated pushback on CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, all of a sudden? The answer to that is simple. They're not ready. They don't have them. They are nowhere near ready to release their own digital currency. And there's behind the scenes, people are being screamed at, make this happen, make this happen, make this happen, and they can't make it happen. All right. So they're putting out this stupid spin story. A digital pound could hit the financial stability and erode privacy in the UK. Yeah, the UK, where they fucking send you to prison for liking a tweet, is worried about the erosion of privacy. It's very, very difficult it's very, very difficult to parody this stuff. You've seen the videos where Australian police bring printouts of fucking Facebook posts to your fucking door to ask you what you meant about the Facebook post. Yeah, but they're worried that the digital British pound could erode privacy. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that is not what they're worried about. Right? They're not ready. They still have to deal with this paper shit. In the meantime, they've got to hold down Bitcoin. They got to hold fucking Bitcoin down as hard as they possibly can, while making sure they have all of their own. This is so fucking obvious. It's like super obvious, but still worth just for the eye candy part of the photo, just for the eye candy portion of the show. From Zero Hedge on 14 January 2022, yachts, and that includes super yachts, to be exempt from the European Union's carbon pricing plan. Carbon pricing, or carbon credits, carbon dioxide credits, is an idea that comes from Enron, which was a failed energy company from the 1990s, a huge scandal back during the 90s stock market. Some people say that all the Enron files were in building number 7 in World Trade Center. I don't know if that's true. And that's why it was blown up. I don't know. Again, I don't know if that's true. But and there was a play on Broadway about Enron. Enron came up with the idea. They had a lot of crappy ideas, but that the emission of carbon dioxide, that should be taxed and regulated, and there should be a market for it. So it's a scam, right? When you exhale carbon dioxide. Now, plants, green growing things, not just the ones that you smoke, but the ones, that cows eat and other people eat. Plants inhale. Well, they don't inhale, they don't have lungs, but plants absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen. So increasing the carbon dioxide component of Earth's atmosphere just means we're going to have better agriculture faster. Every plant on the planet Earth will have more carbon dioxide to absorb so that it can grow faster. But of course, Enron and the people who've taken this germ of an idea have decided that carbon dioxide is in fact a poison, will kill the entire planet, and it has to be carefully regulated. And by carefully regulated means not them, just you. Every time you breathe, talk, start a motor, turn on an electric light switch, or eat some piece of food, they're going to attach a carbon. They're going to decide how much that impacts your so-called carbon footprint, how much carbon you use. This is the so-called environmentally sound governance, ESG governance. All right. This is different versions. It's a variation, again, on this carbon credits idea that 100% comes from Kenneth Lay and the Enron Corporation, which was a massive stock market scandal back in the 90s. Huge fucking scandal. And this is what they're looking to impose on the entire world, with the exception of people who travel in super yachts and have girls like that, they literally by the dozens. But if you eat too many hamburgers, literally lights out for you. They'll shut the fucking electricity off. They'll shut the electricity off where you live because you ate one too many hamburgers. You know what I mean? Or you get the birthday cake that's this big for your kid instead of the one that's this big for your kid. Well, the birthday cake had whatever, 100 grams of sugar and not 40 grams of sugar or whatever, because your kid, like, I'm telling you, that's what they're planning for you. And that's what a lot of people are going to have to live under. Bitcoiners are not going to have to live that way because we're not fucking living that way. We're already building out fucking solutions. Again, an economy that doesn't require any government. And this is why we're going to win. Decentralized money coupled with decentralized governance is going to create an entirely different human future than any of you fucking pinheads can imagine. Because all you can do is look backwards. You can't look forwards. And all you can do is provide fucking theoretical examples. There's no practical use case ever, right? Meanwhile, Bitcoin's working today. You know what I mean? And will continue working. Consistently, they haven't knocked it down, though they're trying. What is this one? I gotta see now. I've see if I didn't fucking send all the shit to myself. I wanted to send. Here we go. Yeah, this isn't everything I wanted. Really, it's not everything you wanted, James. It's a lot of what I wanted. Just another reminder. Just a real obvious from who's running the show. This is why I tell you your ideology is bullshit. Your ideology is 100% bullshit. Emmanuel Macron, the Prime Minister of France, de France libre, liberté, égalité, fraternité. In the red box, employer from 2008 to 2012, Rothschilds. He literally worked for one of the Rothschilds banks right before he became president or prime minister of France. Most of the states in the United States, the one I currently live in, New Jersey, the governor is a former Wall Street guy. The previous governor was a former Wall Street guy. You know what I mean? They Wall Street people, finance people, banker people, central bankers pick who your fucking leaders are. Whether it's a communist leader or it's a centrist leader or it's a right-wing leader, it's all bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. 100% they work for the fucking banks. And the banks are going to take those fucking shitty green pieces of paper that you call money and drive them to fucking zero. I guarantee you they will do that. I guarantee you they will do that. And I fucking guarantee you they will do that. Okay? As sure as the sun comes up in the fucking east, They're going to drive those green pieces of paper to zero. And you say, well, the French don't have green pieces of paper. Whatever the fuck color their pieces of paper are, going to go to fucking zero. The British pound, zero. Everything going to fucking zero. I'm not the first one to say that. Max Kaiser was the first one to say that. But it's true because there is nothing to restrain them. And when they do that, whatever wealth that they want, that they can't see right now, that maybe you're hiding, is going to fucking come up. And then they'll be able to fucking take that. And all of this is going to cause enormous fucking civil unrest. Corporations are going to pay less, pay their workers fucking less, put their fucking lives in fucking risk, you know what I mean? And pay zero taxes. You know what I mean? The state's going to be, there's going to be so many fucking criminals, so many fucking rapists and murders everywhere. They're just going to cycle them in and out. Like, you know what I mean? They're not even going to fucking, they're not building new prisons to fucking contain them. They're not going to be able to, you know, because you have to provide prisons and guards and fucking food and medicine and There's no money in the fucking state budgets for that. They're going to tax more and more and more. You can't pay the taxes. You have to sell your fucking property. Everything physical that they can confiscate, they will confiscate. Everything that they can confiscate, they will confiscate. Something like this, they can't confiscate. Unconfiscatable wealth. You don't see the value of that yet. It's too far away. It's too far off. But nobody here, because unfortunately, God hates you, and he loves me. He gave me the magical argument, Gene, which you can't seem to beat. You know what I mean? But anybody wants to argue with me, I'll argue with them. You know, I'll argue, you know, I'll even argue with you, but you stupid communists, right? Because you don't have an economic system. You don't have an economic fucking theory. You don't have a monetary network that works today. We do. We do. So you want to vote for Macron, or you want to vote for the new French version, or the new whatever version, or Ron DeSantis, or whatever. You're voting for various different central bank puppets. The quicker you get this through your fucking head and just ignore all that shit, watch it go by. It's a circus. It's enjoyable. And you take your shitty Zog bucks, or your good boy points, your Great British pounds, your fucking rubles, your yen, whatever the fuck whatever currency you use, okay, and trade it for Bitcoin and custody that Bitcoin yourself, the better off you're going to be. I challenge anybody to fucking dispute that. I challenge anybody to dispute that. Right? Because you can't, right? So, to the Whitney Houston fans, cheers, boys. To the Josh Neal, that's harsh, bro. But you host Richard Spencer and then 10 minutes later complain, where's the right-wing leadership? Wow. That was bad. That was not good at all. And then it got worse from there. And what will crush liberal democracy while you retards cheer? It's going to be the same soulless corporations that are currently extracting all the fucking wealth that they can from everywhere. And that is what will destroy the government, not your shitty ideas, because no one gives a fuck. So anyway, I don't know. I think I'm running out of notes. But where are we going? Look at this, like what, an hour 15? Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. You know, how desperate are they? This is the best one. The desperation is so bad that Trump's talking about white power. He's doing it like, hey, white people are getting fucked. Really? Hey, Chuckles, did you think of that fucking 5 years ago when you were president? You know what I mean? That's how desperate they are. They're like, you know, that no one is tuning in, that everyone's turning away. You know, that the rising tide of inflation is deafening people to everything. You know what I mean? And as more people go, why am I sitting here? Why don't I just go steal what I want? You think the glorification of gangsters in the 20s and the 30s was big. You think the glorification of the mafia in the 70s with movies like The Godfather was big. Man, you ain't seen nothing yet. the glorification of gangsters is going to be uh, bigger and better. That cult of imagining virtue, right? Projecting virtue onto thieves, murderers, and drug dealers is going to get bigger and bigger. And you're not going to know what to do, right? So, and Ron DeSantis is not going to know what to do, and they're all going to run out of money anyway, and because and they're not going to solve any of the problems, but the corporations will keep pumping right along. You know what I mean? And what was the other thing? What's his name? LaQuisha got on the quarter, right? This was the last week. They announced that they officially are going to put Dindus on the money, right? Maya Angelou, Maya Angelou, probably the world's worst fucking writer, is going to be on the quarter. Not on the paper money yet, but trust me, that's the thin edge of the wedge, boys. That is the thin edge of the wedge. When they put Dindus on the money, it's over. The clock is ticking. The clock is fucking ticking. Seamus Crawford in the chat. I don't have much hope for the nation as a whole, but I think it would be possible to have some small isolated communities of white people. I agree with you on that. Reform is no longer an option. Well, because of the money. It's everything to do with money and nothing to do with anything else. There will be communities, I've said this before, there will be communities, right? It's just a question of what will your community be based on, right? Not oh fuck, too many. I gotta find the right. I have some old shit here. Is it this one? No, crap. Forget. No, not that. No, not that one. Not that one. Fine. Can't find it. There's never a picture of all Pepe people, a bunch of different Pepes dancing around having a party somewhere. But I don't know where the fuck it is. I can't. I'm scrolling as quickly as I can. But I don't. Pepe's boxing. Pepe's doing this. Pepe doing everything except what I need him to do. Fucking frogs. Unreliable. We should import Mexican frogs who will do my Pepe jobs for me cheaper and more reliably. But seriously, what enclaves are going to look like, or what the Bitcoin people call citadels. You will be allowed into a citadel if you got Bitcoin. If you ain't got Bitcoin, then here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. You'll be out there fucking starving. Scumbags like me, immoral scumbags like me, will be inside the fucking citadel, and I'm going to go to the top of the fucking wall, and I'm going to be looking down at you fucking rabble. And I'm going to announce that we have a fucking job opening where you could earn some Bitcoin, and everyone's going to go, yay, what do we got to do? And I'm going to say, you get to be a fucking fry cook in a burger joint. And everyone's like, please pick me. And that'll be you. And your family will be praying. Your wife will be praying. Your kids will be fucking praying. Oh, please let it be my husband. And me, prick that I am, I'll fucking pick two people and I'll put the paper hat. You know what I mean? That's the prize. I'll put the paper hat in the middle, and then you're going to have to fight for it, like fucking UFC style. You're just going to have to fight for the fucking paper hat. And, we're going to try and keep the weight classes more or less the same size, but we're just going to sit back and let you battle it out. You'll fight to the fucking death for the opportunity to be a fucking fry cook in a fucking citadel. We're not fucking joking. When the money runs to fucking zero, when the money dies, you ain't going to believe the shit you're going to do. You ain't going to fucking believe the shit you're going to do. And what I try to tell people is, don't put yourself in that position. Little tiny changes now could avoid enormous pain and suffering in the future. So think of it that way. Again, this ain't gonna happen tomorrow. But Maya Angelou was on the quarter, right? Then who gets on the dollar? Then who gets in the $5 bill, right? When it's $100 for a fucking Popeye's chicken sandwich, and that's coming. I need $100 for a chicken sandwich. Who's going to be in the fucking? Is it going to be an Obama? I don't know who the fuck it's going to be, but it'll be fun. I'll be laughing at that time. Seamus Crawford, imagine buying some Bitcoin and then thinking you're going to be the next Yids. Newsflash, even if Bitcoin is the future, the Yids are going to control it. Wrong again. You couldn't be dumber. You don't understand Bitcoin, but you run your mouth. That's good. I like that. I love people who talk shit who have no idea what they're talking about. Jews are parasites. Jews do not create any value. They are counterfeiters, coin clippers. They are parasites. You don't understand Bitcoin. You don't understand how it works. And I don't give a shit to fucking educate you. Here's the thing, and I've said before, this is the nature of all of us guys who are toxic Bitcoin maximalists. I'm not going to, do you think I'm proselytizing you? You can get it or you can not get it. I don't care. You're all going to come around to my way of thinking. I'm just suggesting you do it now when it's fucking, when the exchange rate is beneficial to you. But you think that there's an alternative. Tell me what the alternative is, right? Tell me what the alternative is. What piece of paper issued by what government are people going to believe in? What piece of paper, right? Is it going to be a piece of paper? Are we going to go back to gold discs? Are we going to go back to metal discs like this? How are you going to do anything big? How are you going to build a bridge? How are you going to build a factory? Right? How are you going to repair 100 miles of road? How are you going to build a hospital? How many bags of fucking gold coins to build a hospital? Right? Or to pay a doctor for some surgery? How are you going to do that? How many armed guards are you going to need? How many shootouts are you willing to have to pay a doctor to fix your kid's broken leg? You pretend you're a fucking thinker. You're not even close. June, they want to keep the usury going. They're going to try. Yeah, except they're pulling in 10 different directions at once. I mean, they're all fucking vultures, consuming the corpse of the American empire. You know what I mean? And it's an enormous, super rich corpse, but it is ultimately a corpse, and it will eventually be stripped. You know what I mean? Of them all, one will win. The counterfeiters will win, right? Counterfeiting is not making a phony $20 bill. That's not the counterfeiting. Counterfeiting is the fractional reserve banking. It's creating money out of thin air, creating trillions in value out of thin air and spending it quickly, buying a factory or farmland or a railroad or something of value, right? From this thing that you created out of thin air like that, you immediately get rid of it, boom, quick, fast, and you get a railroad, right? Which people need because you got to carry shit back and forth. Or farmland, because you need that to grow calories, whether those calories are plant calories or animal calories, right? You need calories. They have to be grown. There's no, I'm not going to eat food for the next 6 months things, right? Everybody has to have food. So that you can counterfeit value, dollars, and trade it for something of real value. Farmland, again, think of something, right? Complex machinery that does important work. I don't know, right? That you can do this, right? And you know when it's going to happen. You know what the timing is. Those are the people that are destroyers. They are counterfeiters. They accumulate enormous amounts of wealth from counterfeit. They do not produce anything of value. They don't produce the valuable thing, right? They consume, or they trick people into giving them something of value. Again, a farm, a factory, a fucking complex piece of machinery, whatever, a bridge, a fucking something, a building, in exchange for something whose value is going down, a currency that they print more of and more of and more of. They are counterfeiters. The counterfeiting is not in the individual bill. It is the fucking enormity of creating a huge amount of value, which you use to steal real things and legally possess. And in exchange, you give something whose value is fucking plummeting. That's what I'm talking about. That's what Bitcoin fixes. Because Bitcoin can't be counterfeited. But you'll learn these lessons, or I don't care if you learn the lessons, or you don't fucking learn the lessons. You'll end up living this way, or your kids will. You know what I mean? One way or the other. One way or the other. June in the chat, the misanthropy in the actions of the powerful indicate they probably want to cull the herd. They don't fucking think that far ahead. They really don't. I deliver parts for private jets. And occasionally, not often, but occasionally, I see the people that fly around in these fucking planes. The minimum price to fly in a NetJets plane per hour, minimum price, $6,000 per hour. Per hour. New York to Florida, 3 hours, $18,000 one way. You and your wife, $36,000 one way. You, your wife, and the dog, and I've actually seen this, $99,000 one way. $99,000 back. I've seen these people up close. I don't interact with them a great deal. They don't talk to people from my social level. All right. But I am there. There's no TV camera. There's no filter, right? I get to see what they look like, what their fucking bodies look like. Are they healthy and fucking strong? Are they fucking hunched over? Are they happy? Are they miserable? I see these people IRL. You don't. Okay. They're not that smart. They don't plan any fucking thing ahead. They're a fucking disaster. The majority of them are absolute fucking disasters. Their primary goal in life is gaining fucking the money, right? They find a way to fucking keep the value coming to them, right? They find a way to keep money coming to them and maintain their status. That's their only goal in life. You fucking read complex fucking reams of text into shit that doesn't fucking exist. They don't care if you live or die. They really don't. If everyone would just get off the road and let them speed straight to the airport, they'd be fine. They don't need you dead. They just need you off the road so they can get to the airport in 15 fucking minutes. If killing you will make that happen, well, then kill all of you. But they don't sit around and go, oh, how can we kill 6.5 billion people that way? No, they don't think that. They never did. They're just as shallow and ignorant as you. They just have a shit ton more fucking money. Seamus, first we need to form a government and then issue money, like I said earlier. But you have your power fantasies. Yeah, I have my power fantasies about Bitcoin owners becoming the kings of the world. We have money that works without government. We have money that works without government permission. You're still waiting for government permission, Seamus Crawford. So I'm asking you in plain fucking English. We are going to form a government. Whose permission you're going to ask? Whose permission you're going to ask to form a government? Are you going to go knock on the door of the Federal Reserve? Excuse me, Jerome Powell, sir. Mr. Powell, sir. The government formers are here. Oh, send them in. Hello, Seamus. What would you like today? Sir, hello, sir. My name is Seamus Crawford, sir. I would like some more government. Right? That's what you're going to do? Our money already works around the world without permission and can't be stopped. Already. And has been working for 13 years. Already working. It's not a fucking theory to us. It's a fucking reality. The currency has been adopted by the nation state of El Salvador. It's being mined using nuclear power in Pennsylvania. It's not a theory, and we're not asking for fucking permission, bro. We're not asking for your fucking permission. We're doing it no matter fucking what. We're doing it no matter what. The largest nation-state attack against Bitcoin happened in May of 2020 when the Chinese government ordered almost all of it. So they kicked Legally, they kicked everybody out, but they didn't kick everybody out. But they cut off about 56%, 56% of the network overnight, like that. Okay. Bitcoin didn't fail. The price dipped, of course. You cut the network in half. Yeah, there's going to be some price action, but it didn't miss a beat. It has not been down for 1 second since its inception. And the Chinese communists can't stop us. You know what I mean? You think you and your little fucking Whitney Houston friends singing your songs, we believe the children's are the future. Go ahead, sing Whitney Houston for me in the fucking chat. Go sing your fucking 1488 song. Well, 1488 is HH. No, 1424. What's W? WX, XYZ. So 26 letters in the alphabet. 1428 or something. 228, 14228 or whatever the fuck. I don't know what the actual. We're gonna have to change that thing. But I will send everybody a free signed picture of Whitney, the cartwheel cokehead Houston, leader of the alt-right. Right? So, okay. We need to form a government. First, you need to get mommy's permission to leave the fucking basement. What is that? I don't know what the fuck this is. Some bullshit. Some bullshit. Okay. An hour 32 we're running. How many people do we have? I have only 5 people. I think I had a whopping 6 visitors. So the future, the far future, is very bright if you have Bitcoin. It's not so bright if you don't have Bitcoin. You need to be aware that more and more confiscatory tax policies will occur as the corporations extract all the fucking wealth they possibly can from America, and state and local governments suffer. Okay. The smaller governments, the weaker, more corrupt governments, Lebanon, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Cuba, Turkey, right? They will all collapse and they will dollarize. That is to say, the US dollar will become the unofficial currency of that nation. Okay. This is only, of course, going to, have the fucking Fed print even more fucking money. But in the short term, in the next 5-7 years, the dollar is going to look stronger than it's ever been. And then these people are going to be lunatics. We've broken the business cycle. We're in a whole new economic model like no one's ever seen before. Dollar dominance forever, dollar, uber alles. And it's going to inflate until it pops. Okay. And no one will believe it's going to pop. The absolute 100% rock certainty that it cannot ever fail, that history has been overcome somehow, that the laws of economics are not the real laws of economics, will destroy them. So what I suggest you do between now and then is, like I said, while the dollar still has relative value against Bitcoin, trade a bunch of your shitty fucking Zog bucks for fucking Bitcoin. And even if, listen, I told Ziggy to poll like this, buy $25 for your grandson. He's 5 years old. You know what I mean? If the kid hits 18 and it's worth the same amount of money, he wins. But you might have something to pass on that the government cannot confiscate from you, unlike your house and everything else. So, Seamus Crawford, we aren't going to stage a revolution or something. It's just going to happen naturally when we move to Wyoming and keep the blacks from coming in. Yeah, Wyoming has they're moving what's his name, Congolese into Wyoming. Look it up. You don't control the federal government. The federal government has the power and the money to do what it wants to do. You don't control that. You can't stop that. Okay? When the federal government loses its power is when it loses its money. When no one is willing to do federal work, okay, for federal bucks, that's when shit changes. Okay? It's not a matter of what you vote for. You know what I mean? The voting process has been effectively nullified. Who's we? I'm going to move to Wyoming. I think there's more people in fucking. What's the population of Wyoming? It's like 300,000 people in the whole state. No nuclear power plants. How much farming is done there? You can't grow your own calories. You have no fucking energy. You're dependent on outside external sources for all of this shit. You think people aren't going to work that? You think they're not going to fucking work you? Again, like I said, you have a child's mindset. You don't understand complex systems. You don't understand any of this. Like the whole red state's going to secede. No, it's not. All these red states have army bases, Air Force bases, fucking tank parks, all kinds of federal fucking shit. You think Tennessee is going to tell them fucking Washington, D.C. to go fuck itself? Fort Knox is in Tennessee. It's surrounded by like 1,000 M1A Abrams tanks. It doesn't take 1,000 fucking Abrams to pacify the state of Tennessee. I assure you, it will take a lot less than that. And that's just the fucking armor that they can bring to bear alone. All right? You're not living in the real world. We're all going to move. Who's we? Again, you have to ask mommy's permission, right? And all your friends are either FBI or fucking Arab dudes or fucking brown people. Every white supremacist on the fucking internet is Puerto Rican or fucking Arabic or fucking Swahili. Whatever. You're incapable of imagining a future different from what you currently live in, right? This paradigm, okay, of green pieces of paper issued by the government is the only thing you know, and it's the only thing you can think of, right? It's like those shitty episodes of Star Trek, like back when William Shatner days, right? Everything was like, like they could only imagine. It was always Spock, Spock and Shatner in Nazi Germany or something like that, or whatever, like some dumb shit like that. They could never imagine anything different from today, right? All these worlds, all the millions of miles away, they're all creatures with one head and two eyes and a mouth and hands. You know what I mean? They paint the skin blue or whatever. Like the inability for science fiction to think of actually science fiction-y shit, right? There just happen to be fucking dozens or hundreds of planets, all of which are capable of sustaining life. Just as this one has green skin or this one has a tentacle or whatever, right? It's shit as science fiction goes. But you're a dopey kid watching TV and you don't know that. You don't know. That's all you know. So you think that's what science fiction is, right? And the same thing, the economic system that you were born and raised in is all you've ever known. And you cannot think outside this. You cannot imagine outside this, not for 1 second. I point this out to you and you say what a scumbag I am. And then you're going to give the thumbs up. You can not even see thumbs down. Leave a nasty comment below. Somebody fucking write a comment for once. But that's that. So you guys, you want to look in the past and wait for Adolf Hitler to be reincarnated or some new green piece of paper with a different, instead of Maya Angelou on it, it's going to have, I don't know, Halle Berry or something like that. The money's still going to be worthless, right? It's still going to be worthless. They could put Halle Berry in a $100 bill and make a better looking $100 bill than Ben Franklin, to be honest. But, that doesn't mean it's going to fucking buy you anything, And so enjoy higher fuel prices, enjoy higher food prices, enjoy lower wages and higher taxes. And tell yourself that it's just a matter of time. If you just read another book by some dead guy who never had a job and who never solved a fucking problem, just one more book, just one more fucking theoretical something where we all have to rally around the flag. Human beings don't do that. They're individually incentivized to do different things according to their fucking abilities and skills. But since you never leave the house, you don't know that. So, yeah, that's about it. I don't know. Well, how much more can I do? Like a fucking an hour 40. You know what I mean? And now I'm losing my fucking voice again. My voice was good for a long time, for the first hour and 40. I think I beat up on Seamus Crawford enough. I completely brutalized fucking Josh Neal. That was terrible. That was a fucking bloodbath. The 1488 guys, everyone knows I don't really that I mocked them for a long time. You got to remember that OV fuck you has come out as a pedophile, right? OV fuck you is pedo V fuck you. So OV the pedo V. You know what I mean? It's super obvious to anyone with two brain cells in their head, but maybe not so much to you guys. But it's 2022 so far has been pretty well lit. Don't worry about Russia going. We not start World War III or Ukraine or anything else. It's all fucking bull. It's not going to happen. The Jews in Moscow and St. Petersburg are not going to nuke the Jews in New York or Washington D.C. It didn't happen when I was a kid growing up, and ain't going to happen now. World War III. It ain't fucking happening. So it's all bullshit. I know a bunch of people might die in the Ukraine. You know what I mean? A bunch of people might die somewhere else, but there's not going to be no World War III. That's not happening. Like I said, you got to understand those whole scare stories. It's all bullshit, and you need to step back, disengage from this stuff, and make smart moves based on what's good for you and your family and your progeny, and ignore everything else. All right, James, good night. Take care, Seamus Crawford. Agree to disagree on this. You should come back on the Hobbscast. Tell Patrick to fuck off. I've how many times I told Patrick to fuck off? Dude, like, you guys just keep wanting the same reruns over and over. I fucking destroyed fucking Bateman on dozens of occasions. You know, just because you weren't there to see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Trust me, there's nothing left of Bateman. You know what I mean? The fact that the fucking Dindus and Stapleton projects probably fucking ran a train on his ass, literally, is unsurprising to me. But whatever. For what purpose? Like, you know what I mean? For what purpose? To argue with a junkie. To you, that's exciting. I was born and raised in New York City. I've done that more time. I did that more times when I was 35 than most people do in their entire lifetimes. All right, guys. Coming up an hour 45. Make sure to smash up the like button. Or if you don't like this, right, tell me to go fuck myself in the comments below. With that, I will let's see what happens in this coming week, and I'll talk to you guys next week.